Hello, my name is Tom with International Aircraft, and today I'm going to show you how to take photos of your plane even just using your camera phone. When it comes to taking photos, the biggest piece of advice I could give you is to hire a professional photographer. Look, you get what you pay for. These planes are beautiful. Your plane is the most beautiful plane in the world, and you deserve to show it. And that means investing in high quality professional photography. But if for whatever reason you choose to take photos with your phone, here are a couple tips to help make those photos the best they could possibly be. First and foremost, we're only looking for anywhere from 8 to 12 photos on this listing. We don't need a ton of photos. So you're gonna get 4 from the exterior, 4 in the interior. The 4 exterior photos are gonna be super simple. They're just gonna be from the front angle on both sides, and then a little bit on the sides, maybe a little bit of the tail. And if you have any modifications that you wanna showcase, whether that's the engines, a wing modification, anything like that, you can add that. So 4 to 5 photos should be plenty for the exterior, and I'm gonna show you some tips of when you're taking those photos. All right, so here we are with our plane. So a couple of things that we're gonna notice are gonna be issues for us today. Number one, we wanna be mindful of the lighting. So the sun is behind me, which is casting the light onto the plane. Some people, be careful. For example, you'll see the lights back there. So all of a sudden, when they try to take a picture of a plane in the sunlight, all you see is the sun and not the plane. The plane's in a shadow. So we want to be mindful of our lighting here. The other thing we're going to have to worry about is look at this bottom, look at this hose over here. That's going to be an issue. This golf cart in the background, that's going to be an issue. Other planes might be an issue. So if you can taxi your plane somewhere else where that's the main focus of the shot, then that's going to be huge. All right, so we're going to take one from this side angle. Okay, this is showing us the entirety of the plane. We're going to get to see pretty much everything that we want to be mindful of. Now, we can either go head on like this. We'll take a picture. We can go up and above. That's going to make the plane look a little sleeker. So I'm going to get a little closer, go up and above. That's going to give it a little bit of a sleeker style. Now, if you want your plane to look bigger than life, like one of those airliners, we're gonna go ahead and we're gonna go from the bottom up, get a nice background in the sky. That's great. Now you notice this yellow rectangle that's popping up. If you have an iPhone or any phone, this is your focus point. So you're gonna go ahead and make sure you're focusing on the plane, click and hold. That's gonna lock the focus in place so that even if you move it around, we're still gonna get a great shot. Okay, this plane, so that's one shot. We're gonna go. Now, some people like to do a nose shot. That's totally cool. I get it. Again, be mindful. We can go up, make it look sleek. We can go down, make it look big. Okay, that's kind of cool. But for me, it doesn't show too much. That's why I prefer these shots kind of from the side. Similarly, something to be mindful of with the side shots. See, this dolphin thing is going to be an issue for us. So again, we want to be, these side shots, they're okay. They're not very, they don't say much. They don't capture the imagination. It's pretty basic. That's why I'll go off to the side a little bit. But you might be able to get some more life out of this if you crouch down, angle down. You can go even from the top. I think it's just too boring of a story. I like this kind of a shot here. This plane has some wing modifications and engine modifications, so this shot right here is getting me both of those. You can see the wing modification there, and you can see the engine, so that's kind of important. Some people like the tail shot. Again, this dolphin in the background is going to be an issue for us, so be mindful of that. But tail shots are nice. This is kind of a cool shot right here. Now, what I'm doing is, out of my entire screen, I'm imagining there's a grid, like a tic-tac-toe board. And I'm making sure that if my main focus is the tail number, let's say, I'm making sure that's not in the middle of the frame. Because if that's in the middle of the frame, now all of a sudden all the way over here, I got a hanger. I don't really want that. I'm making sure it's at the tic-tac-toe where the lines would intersect with one another. Boom, boom. That composes the shot nicely, and I can take a picture of that, and that's kind of cool. All right, so we're gonna take a look at the interior of the plane now. The most important thing when it comes to the interior is 4 main shots. One of the cockpit, one of the interior from the nose facing the tail, one from the tail facing the nose, and then the 4th one might be the galley. It might be a further shot from the cockpit so you can see the chairs. It's totally up to you. At least those 4 pictures are gonna be super important. And then if you wanna add on anything extra, like, you know, you have a very nice galley or special finishes or cellular phones or anything like that, that would be fine. Just be mindful of some of the tips as we go through. All right, so let's take a few photos. So if we're gonna go from the angle from down up, that's gonna give it a sleek kind of a look. We're gonna go ahead and click here. So as you can see, pay attention to even the seatbelts. We try to position them in such a way that they're not distracting, but if you actually looked at it, you're like, oh, there's a pattern here. So if we go from a top-down perspective, we can go ahead and do that. That's gonna give it kind of a sleek look. If we go kind of head on, that gives it another kind of look. And then if we go from the bottom, this is gonna make the cabin look even bigger. See how I'm kind of getting those windows on the side? Let me be able to go down a little bit to get a little better composition. I can even go back and get these chairs from behind here. But that kind of, I don't love that because it kind of cuts away from the rest of the seat. I want to be able to see that seat. So those are things to keep in mind. If you're shooting down, it's going to look one way. If you're shooting eye level, and then if you're shooting up. Now let's go ahead and take a look at what this does and what this looks like when we're shooting instead of from the tail to the nose, from the nose to the tail. Now here we have a unique challenge. As you can see, there's a mirror back there. So you can see me. So what I'm going to have to do is I'm going to have to step to the side a little bit. And I'm gonna kind of have to angle the shot in such a way so that you don't really see me. So I can either shoot down so you don't really see me. And again, we get that more of a slender look from the down level. I can shoot up as well. I just gotta get my head out of the way. And that's gonna make that's gonna make it look a lot bigger. I can shoot from back here. And if I just see it, and I gotta be mindful of that. So let me go ahead and shoot. Let's pull this out, put that down here out of the way. Okay, so now we're gonna go from the cockpit. You can see the doors open a little bit. So again, do we wanna go kind of at a downward angle, slender? Do we wanna try to see this? Because of these 2 chairs here, it's going to be hard to do a down shot, but we also have an opportunity to get a picture of this bench here. So that's something we're going to want to take advantage of because that kind of shows off a little bit of how the plane is actually laid out. That's one thing we don't always see is how the plane is laid out. Let's take a look at the cockpit. All right, so we're going to focus on one shot on the avionics. Okay, we're also going to focus on one shot a little bit further so we can see kind of into it and see the captain's chairs as well. Now, if your phone has an ultra wide angle lens, you can also do that. Notice how it's a little distorted. It makes it look a lot roomier in the cockpit, which is kind of cool, but you'll have to be mindful of how that's going to play out. And then last but not least, as I mentioned, you may want to get a photo of any special features like the galley. If you want to do a galley bench, it's nice. All right.